Kavan. Welcome, brave souls. I am your GM in the Great Barrier, and we are back with Star Trek Adventures Broken Sword. I welcome you tonight to our 7th episode of the 2nd season, Toy'meH, jach, Hoch. As we get things going here, there are, of course, a couple of shout-outs to bring up. Those being for our other players who run streams. For those of you joining us live, you will, of course, see the shout-outs in the chat. However, for those of you watching this in the YouTube archive, these will be in the description of the video. Going down our order, our listed order of officers here, there is, of course, our own Zyla OXO, who plays Raldar. We see we've got, you've had some Dungeons and Dragons going, and before that, I remember quite a few streams of RoboCop, if I'm not mistaken. How's all
yes.
How's all that going?
And that was fun. It is fun watching the slow descent into madness of my one competent player in the party.
Yes.
Is it the player who's competent or the character who's competent?
Yes.
Asking for a friend.
Yes.
Well, by all means, check all of that out. It's a lot of fun to watch. I have been at least lurking around in some of those streams myself. You should also take a good look at the channel of our good friend Joe, the OverlandGamer. It's been... I remember last there'd been the Galaxy of Pen and Paper that you'd been playing, and I know you've had other things going on. Any other particular plans streaming-wise here, Joe?
No, probably do some Need for Speed at some point this week. Continue on with Need for Speed Unbound. Debating about going into Fallout because with the new update for Fallout 76 seems pretty cool, but yeah.
Good stuff. Well, definitely check them out and give them your support. Throw them a follow. If you're new here, feel free to drop a follow here. We are very close to 100 followers on the channel now. That's been the goal I've had set for a little while. I think we're up to 98. So any of it's appreciated. It's validation for my ego and these weird little Star Trek adventures I've been telling these past couple of years. It's appreciated, and it's a good way to keep you up to date on all of our adventures, in addition to following our social media, Discord, anything of the sort. But yeah, the only other announcement I have is more a reminder for everybody. If you have Netflix in particular, for those of you that are stateside, Star Trek Prodigy has dropped in its entirety yesterday for the 2nd season. So please go check that out. Star Trek Prodigy is... it's another go in the animated Trek that I think has been especially strong these past few years. It is an excellent show. I've gone through the first few episodes myself, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of what they do. So, definite recommend. Give it a look.
Is first season available?
First season is also on Netflix now. They took everything down from the Paramount streaming service, so no longer definitive home for Star Trek as marketed. But you can find all of Prodigy now on Netflix. With all of that, I think that about covers the announcements that I had in mind. So we are doing something slightly different, where since Tabak, the ship's captain and owner of the ship, and head of the House of Cord for that matter, for anyone that's just coming into this, he had stayed behind from the ship whilst it was off on another mission to remain with his family and to administer his holdings. So these records will take place roughly from a time while the Jan was away on its previous couple episodes up to the present day. So I'll let you take it from there, Sean.
Emily Chronicle, House of Cord, Mek'tor, 25 Maktag, year KLS 875. I still feel odd
making these entries again. I've been gone from my home for so long, I almost feel shame for leaving my wife behind to handle everything in my stead. No matter. Everything moves apace. The Shatlas Guild has already deposited a sizable sum into my house accounts. It's lifted a great weight from my spirit and allowed for the planning of some very much needed repairs in my city. It's also allowed me to pay back all of the local debt that the house has picked up over the last few years. Injection of cash into the populace has brightened moods and made the people happier and more willing to work and rebuild. I publicly commended my brother for his actions and greatly increased his duties. I gave him the authority to speak in my name and in the name of the House of Cord in nearly all matters. The first project I've given him is the refurbishment of the landing field. He promises me that he'll have it repaired quickly and within budget. We shall see. My trust in my brother has never been greater than it is now. Our bond has been strengthened to what it was back when we were both children, watching out for each other as we stole sweetmeats from our grandmother's kitchens. I will rely on him more and more as he proves himself worthy of it. I've told him thus. He is pleased. My wife, however, has found many new things to displease her. Aside from all the new noise of the workers around the fort, which I know she only feigns for the amusement, the target of most of her ire is Kresic, the Gorn doctor from the Yan who, for reasons beyond my comprehension, and has failed to comment on even when asked directly, he stayed behind as the Yan left with her new captain Azek to go and aid the House of Kalorn at Raldar's behest. Kresic alternates between attempting to be my shadow, which, considering his immense bulk, is both alarming and hilarious, and simply watching my daughter. If I'm being honest, it bothers me as well to some degree, but not as much as it does Marathi. She's had few dealings with non-Klingons, and the Gorn especially are foreign to her eyes. She has said that Kresic continues to bother her concerning the health of our children, and that he should be allowed to examine them. She continues to tell him in loud and no uncertain terms that they will continue to see their own Klingon physician, our good local Dr. Chura. Pardon me. Chuha. I once caught Kresic surreptitiously taking scans of my daughter Tohui. Quietly told him not to let Morathi catch him doing that, else his immense hide might well be turned into a wall hanging. As far as I know, he's listened to me. My wife has not commented again on it, and he still wears his scaly hide. Family Chronicle, House of Cord, Mek'tor, 40 Maktag, year of Kalis 875. My brother has impressed me. In less than 15 days, he's had the entire landing field cleared of the overgrown vegetation, the walkways cleaned up, the staging areas scraped of anything alive, had power restored to the outbuildings, and even now has a crew trying to get all the cargo transporters working again. His largest issue with that being the dearth of spare parts. I have one of the machinists looking into what it would take for him to begin local manufacture. In the meantime, I've contacted the guild for some aid in that respect. They assure me that those parts can be delivered within the week. Speaking of the guild, the Shatlas have continued to fly their small shuttles around my world looking for a place with the geography they're looking for. They almost chose to take the island of Mek'tor, but then I had to advise them of the sleeping volcano that erupts with startling energy and always quite unexpectedly. The looks on their faces were humorous, to say the very least. From what I know, the Yan should be at Hoch by now. I know little of House Kalorn aside from their honorable standing. That they called out so far as to Raldar, who tells me he's an associate with that house for aid is surprising. The situation must be dire, as they understand they're at war with a rival house, House Maag, if I remember rightly. I have no news of my ship or my crew. I need not be concerned. Isaac is a capable officer. His previous time in the Imperial fleet proves that much. It was a good choice, making the captain of the Yan. I have plans for that old garbage scow of a ship. I've already laid in funds for upgraded equipment and replacements for things I know are nearing the end of, or are already beyond, their safe operational lifetimes. Rothy tells me I should just strip the old Raptor down into spares for a new ship. But that old thing means a great deal to me personally. We may be able to eventually rebuild our fleet of old and ferry ours and others' cargoes across the Empire with heads held high. But that little ship proved such a boon to me in a dark time when I needed one. Even the gods of old wouldn't begrudge me a semblance of vanity, I would think, in keeping the Yan. There's so much of my own spirit and soul in that ship. I bled to make her fly and fight again. I'm actually excited for when I can share my designs with Captain Isaac and my engineer Raldar. Family Chronicle, House of Cord, Mek'tor, 10th day of Maruth, year of Kalis, 875. What did they do to my ship? Family Chronicle, House of Cord, Mek'tor, 47 Maruthya, year of Kalis, 875. The last few weeks have been, let us say, interesting. The Shatlat Guild has finally found a place here. They've chosen one of the larger island chains on the other side of the world from the fort, the Balka chain. They chose well. Those islands are all very close together and are all very geologically stable. The sea life should be a good source of food and sport as well. The many-armed giant Pipius analogues most certain. My brother fulfilled his promise, and the landing field is once again a thing of engineering beauty. Everything is clean, everything is in good repair, and everything works. Most importantly, we have managed to put in more stores of parts and have a supply of deuterium fuel, as well as antimatter and dilithium. We've even had a small handful of ships stop and take advantage of our new repair facilities. My brother hopes that he'll be able to build an orbital dockyard to be able to service the larger ships in the Empire that cannot land, but we are not ready for that. For now, he is happy. He has brought honor upon himself and coin and recognition to our house. I'm happy as well. The refit of the Yan is finally complete. It took longer than I'd originally envisioned, but it is done. She'll fly again soon, and we'll take her on her shakedown. As for my crew, well, much has happened. I neglected this chronicle for a great deal of time, and my reasons are, well, not shameful, but must be noted. When Beyond returned to Mek'tor, there were issues. Firstly, there was some significant damage done to her. Aside from the remaining and new structural issues, there was some very significant damage to the computer system. I will come back to that. There was some attrition amongst my crew. Krokor is dead, killed by the enemy on Hoch. He died with honor and would be welcomed into Stovokor. He was an odd man, but he was Klingon to the end. The things that concern me the most about my crew is the Yan's captain and a new crew member that I had not sent them out with. Well, 2 new crew, but I'll come to that too. Isaac is different. Firstly, this Isaac has both of his arms. He had a wild tale to tell me, and if I were more of a traditionalist, I would have put him and some others into a cell and had them choose their own pain. But examinations done by Kresic and scans provided to me by Vopri have informed me that this is indeed Azek. However, it is an Azek from an alternate universe. His quantum signature is off, but only by the very slightest. It would seem that the differences between our universes are small. Azek kept his arm, and he brings me my other problem. Cat. You'd think I'd have no problem with cats, but this one is odd. Firstly, it's very large. Secondly, it talks. Thirdly, it is an accomplished engineer. Fourthly, a genetic scan reveals that it is one of my world's stock. I may be getting soft, but it did not kill the abomination at first sight. My crew vouched for it, and I stayed my hand. My wife is annoyed with me, but I can weather that storm. And I managed to find out about a missing dock worker, one Hoch, who was a laborer on the landing field. The man is a fool and seems almost to be a simpleton, and I should have had him flogged. But it seems he was instrumental in keeping the rest of the crew in good health, keeping them alive on the battlefield. And in talks with him concerning, of all things, the complexities of ship weapon systems, he's quite learned. Almost as good as Woe was. This short, ugly stump of a man seems to be almost the exact opposite of myself, but I find I like it. He will remain on the crew. Addendum. I forgot to speak of this. All of Krokor, it seems, is not dead. Whatever that holographic thing that would oft-times speak for him, whatever it was, it continues to function. However, it's taken up residence in the Jan's computer. It amuses me for some reason I cannot define. It amuses me so much that during the refit I added a small secondary computer core connected to the main core to house it. Betty's presence within the main computer or in the various subsystems was causing cascade failures and code violations and system resets and generally interfering with some of the normal computer functions. No, I will call it she, has a surprising amount of code powering her. And so instead of simply purging all of that code, I gave Betty a home, and I convinced her to keep the bulk of her program in it. She still has complete connectivity to the rest of the ship's systems. I even gave her a backup battery should the ship suffer some sort of power failure. She should keep her higher functions operational for about a year without using ship's power at all in an emergency. The Jan itself is now a wonder to my eyes. All the old damage, including some structural elements I was never able to fix, it's all been mended. Systems have been upgraded to modern standards. All of the transporters, both personal and cargo, are working at peak efficiency. The power system issues we had with the new disruptor cannons have been attended to. We've added to the ship's crew, filling all the billets. I've even converted one of the cargo bays into a barracks of sorts in case I need more crew for something. And that's because something still bothers me. Woe is still missing. It's been more than 2 months since she was captured. It's shameful. It's intolerable. Greatly like that big Kazin female. I want her back at her station. I left her quarters as she left them, although I did remove any leftover bits of food and the giant rolling balls of fur that shed off of her that were going all over the place on the floor. Once this ship is ready, I want my friend back. Mr. GM.
And that effectively captures our the situation as it presently stands, and as it takes us to the planet of Mek'tor. Starting with a view over the peaks on a I think if I remember seasons properly, the planet is generally brisk, and the day might be a little, might actually be a little warmer than usual, heading into its warmer months as the sun crests over the nearby peaks around Takor's fort. The capital city that has long been in your family, Tabak, and remains under your control. Now, marginally more rebuilt. It is a more of a bustle of activity than it has been in some time, with the efforts of your people, of the Savan, of the regular merchant, and of those from the Shatlash Guild, as activity starts to bustle once more. I think that with that we can give you a bit of a rest there, Sean. We don't immediately need to check in on Tabak. Before we would come to that, would anybody particularly like a scene for their main player character?
We could have one for DuPont in the transporter room with Ezek.
You want DuPont and Ezek, I heard?
Yep.
Okay. Since DuPont is a supporting character, and, well, more specifically, it is generally your supporting character, would you like to give the opportunity for one of the players to take over first, or did you want me to run your cat friend?
You can run it. It's just going to be a brief one.
Very well. So, as we crane over, and hopefully we didn't, who did we lose? Oh dear, we lost Rev for a moment. Well, we'll hope that they come back very shortly. And while that's going, let me just move us over to the transporter room. So, as the sights glance over the great city, that is starting to see some better days once again, it also glides over the fields that have been reinforced and cleared in order to handle the arrival of new starships. One such port is presently occupied. The Yan, a Raptor-class vessel, is presently landed on one of the starports, and it is aboard the ship where we initially come in to the transporter room. The door opens, and Ezek, stepping through the doors with both arms available here, you see, standing unusually on two legs, bearing in mind their usual preference for all fours, you see an old friend and treasured crewmate by the name of DuPont. The mechanical contraptions that allow for the enhanced motor function and increased mental acuity, giving him a certain spark, though not thankfully from the machine malfunctioning in any way. He glances over, his ears cocking up. Ah! Hello, Ezek, my old friend.
DuPont, how are you getting on with the crew? How are repairs to the transporter room coming?
Well, if I were honest, I'm still getting, well, I'm better acquainted with the machinery at this point than I'd say the crew. Although it is very nice to see that that Traven fellow. He introduced me to the concept of, as he put it, scritch scratches, and I have to say I rather like it. I like it a lot.
You've come a long way since the first days I saw you in your former employer, our dear friend that passed. I'm really proud that you're here, and I'm thankful that you're here. With all the changes that have happened, it's good to know that we have some familiar friends nearby.
Yes, yes, it's well. If I were still a bit more honest, which I can be with you, Ezek, you know I have all the trust with, so far as we are concerned. I do get the feeling well, strictly speaking, I haven't heard that much about whether they intend to take me with or whether I'm allowed to come back on the ship when it actually goes into space. Indeed, some of the time when I'm in the city, I feel like I'm being watched. Though maybe that's just odd times. I'm trying to avoid it as much as I can.
Well, to be fair, you're a lot different than the cats that roam these parts. Um, they don't often see someone of your size out there. But I'm sure the captain or admiral, whatever he's calling himself nowadays, Tabak and I are going to have a discussion about that, and hopefully we can come to an arrangement. I will definitely vouch for you, and we've served together for so long, and it's nice to. Hopefully, it'll carry some weight with it.
I hope so. I have to say, I think well, he kind of seems like the least comfortable with me. But I haven't gone out and sought any conversation truly since we had our last encounter. In any case, he says, waving his paws, which extend slightly to reflect the modification, giving him a little more prehensile capability. The point is moot until there's some orders to extend, or rather allow deployment of the Yarn once more, and presuming that our new liege lord allows us to leave, maybe he'll just let me take. Maybe if you are still in command, he'll just let me go with you, and we don't have to bother him or anyone else. We'll serve the house together.
Definitely, definitely try anyway.
Yes.
Do you mind taking a look at my arm a little bit? It's feeling kind of itchy, and it's not hurting or anything. It's just slightly uncomfortably itchy.
Oh dear, yes. Bring it here, chap. I'll see what I can do for you. He says, walking over to you, going back down onto all fours, in a motion much more familiar to a cat very easily. Its tail flitting up and maintaining its position kind of over his head as he trots on over to you. All right, do bring it down here. I can stand to look at this, but it's a little easier if you get the offending patch closer.
I'll sit down with my back against the wall, so it's easy access for him.
Very good, very good. Azek, as you do this, let's describe the particular difficult part of the arm. How is the right arm that everyone is looking at compared to everyone else?
Well, hang on, I'm gonna sneeze.
Sure thing. While Joe is sneezing, I just wanted to send my thanks to whomever the subscriber was there. Unfortunately, I have managed to get my Twitch feed knackered in such a way that I cannot tell genuinely. So I'm just going to offer my thanks and hope that you are continuing to enjoy the show.
So the way his arm looks, he's kind of got a heavy sleeve over it, and he rolls it back, and it goes from being skin tight to being very loose, revealing the servos and mechanisms underneath. It's not as elegant as Data was, but it's very it's very similar to like Luke's in Star Wars. Um, so it's got a little bit, couple of hydraulic lines running through it. Um, the connection point between his shoulder and the mechanism um, looks very cobbled together, very like it was roughly put in, even though it still functions like it's supposed to.
Oh my, oh my. I will have to do a little bit of, well, I might try to devise more of a cap between this now. For the moment, I have some of that weak analgesic that we've been continuing to use. If you don't mind me trying to work that in.
That's fine. That's been working in the past.
Yep. He produces a small little canister and like dips something out on the surface of his paws and rubbing them together. You know, you might want to speak to the. I hear that you have a proper doctor fellow on this planet. The larger, one of the larger reptilian types like that. That Raldar of yours. You might want to see him for this in the future.
As he's applying that, um, I'll kind of get real quiet, and we have a if things come up about the switch, you know what to do, right? As far as keeping me informed.
DuPont quietly looks at your arm. His paws working in the the analgesic, much in the same way that like a cat would try to much in the same way like a cat would try to get an area comfy, like you know how they extend out their
He's
paws
muffling
and, like,
them. He's
yeah.
muffling it in.
Yep, and the claws like come out at moments too, so it's I'm sure it's a little bit painful. I could see Ezek like the one bulldog from Looney Tunes when he has the tiny cat on his head, getting comfy and ready to sleep. But yeah, as he muffins in the analgesic there, he stays focused on his work. He doesn't look to you and says, "Oh, if it comes to it, you know what? I owe so much to you, Ezek."
I appreciate that. Hopefully we can keep that under wraps, and hopefully their Azek forgives us.
Yeah, one can hope.
After he finishes, I thank him, and I'll keep you apprised as to what Tavok says.
He'll go back to being on all fours after wiping off some of the analgesic on like any residual bit of that on his like any sort of fabric that he might have on him, and then he'll resume his position on all fours, but he'll like lean basically to sit down, or yeah, he'll plop down and say, "Sure thing," and well, hopefully Your Lord Tabok gives you some good news as well. All right. And before we transition to the next scene, I have to note we have a bot in the chat. Somebody get to the soundboard here. As you know what we do to them now.
Moopsie, 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 Moopsie,
Okay,
Moopsie.
that is that's more than enough, Moopsie. Hey, no. That is not what we do around here. This is just a threat. Also, I do just have to laugh at this. I'm sorry for the momentary break, but the literal overgrown scalper, the fact that they have like the reference to scalping in their name, it just strikes me as appropriate. In any case, goodbye. So, yeah. That's the warning to all bots and spammers. Your bones will be drank by Moopsie. So, while that's going, let's see here. Let us jump around to a different scene. If nobody else has anything, then I know what I want to do. But let's see. I'll ask. I'm going to start by asking one of our Gorn if either of them are interested. Kresik, Raldar, would either of you like a scene at the moment?
I could go for one.
Okay. So what would you like to do with Raldar right now?
Well, he has an item that he needs to fix up.
Ah, yes. So we should put you in the merchant district then. So let's do exactly that here. I'm just going to move things around. Okay. I'm going to try to move things around here. All right, there we go. All right. So, Raldar, where we will put you, we will come to you as outside the ship and within the city of Takor's fort. We find you out amongst the greeted by the sound of I'm sorry, my train of thought has been completely thrown off, and that's no good. So let's get that fixed. Dread. All right. There we go. Sorry, my Roll20 appears to be giving me some trouble tonight. I'll just have to edit around that. Okay. So, as it leaves the transport room in the ship, we move back over to the city of Takor's fort, the main capital and largest settlement by far on Mek'tor. In particular, we are greeted to the cacophonous noise of the merchants of the Forge district. Raldar, as you walk the streets of Takor's fort, you hear the sounds of many hammers being swung, the hanging of the various mek'loths, which are the planet's primary trade in terms of one of the they are famous for that level of crafting. It's not their primary income source, to be sure, but it is something that the captain has been particularly proud of, and from your own view, he seems to demonstrate some quality with it. It is, as you've been walking through the city, you have been carrying around a very different blade, to which I think that the man there will be one of the nearby forge workers, or the one whom you've come to approach. He looks it over and says, Most unusual damage you've got here. This, a batleth, I would say.
Correct.
And how, pray tell, would someone like you come around to taking possession of this?
It belonged to my adopted uncle. He fell in battle. He fell in battle recently. I recovered it.
He kind of looks you up and down just a little bit skeptically. Would it be correct to presume Raldar is in his usual Klingon armor as well?
That is correct.
Yeah. Okay. So the armor well tailored for the 8-foot tall Gorn gentleman that you are, well muscled and bearing the shattered blade, broken at the hilt from where it had given out. Well, I will have to conduct some analysis of the metal to determine whether it is, how easily reparable it is. I will also say, the batleth, in general, there is some degree of finesse to the forging of the blade. It's a repair job is not the simplest or particularly cheap work. If it is something myself or one of the forge masters can do here, then it will take time and it will take Darsex to properly ensure that that you get the quality of work. If anyone tells you otherwise, then they are trying to be most dishonorable towards you.
I see.
He takes the two handles. The batleth, the long, rounded blade of the Klingons. This one being a more traditional variant, that is to say, with the basically the rounded sort of arch shape, with both sort of cleaving elements, but 4 sharpened points that can be used to stab and skewer as well. He's trying to get a sense of how they best fit together, trying to get a closer look at the where the handle was severed, rended in two by an opponent on the world of Hoch. Of course, the other half of this blade here seems as though it's been exposed to quite considerable heat, he says. For, as you remember, Raldar, half the batleth that your uncle bore was partially melted by a previous artillery strike, it seems. Very likely one of the blasts that dealt your uncle some fatal injuries. I could probably bring the blade back together with everything else being even, but so long as you have this asymmetry, that is going to be more difficult to resolve, and that you may need someone more proficient or acquainted with the batleth. Otherwise, I fear you may lose this blade again.
I see. I should take it back to the original smiths, you say?
You may do so, though if you wish to leave it here, I can conduct further analysis and bear some communication with you. Is your ship going to be here long? Wait.
I will likely return here. I am in service to the House of Cord at the moment.
Oh, yes, I had heard of them. I heard one such grand... He ponders his next word. Some grand individual such as yourself follows him regularly. I did not realize that, that you would leave such bodyguard duty today. I'm sure the captors will.
There are 2 of us.
Oh, and you are not that one.
I am not that.
Well,
Very much not.
Practically under your breath and with a mild seethe. And I'm sure somewhere on the on a different part of the city, Kresic just has the feeling, or just as the thought come to mind, the feeling's mutual. Well, I'll begin analysis right away. If we can do it, then for one in service to the House of Cord, we shall work and we shall serve.
And I appreciate your service.
He will nod, and then with a beat, as he gives consideration to it, he'll nod his head or like he will actually bow forward just very slightly, only just enough to sort of an acknowledgement of a head tilt, in essence, to show at least a small sign of respect to you for your service to the captain.
I will leave you to your work, honorable tradesman.
Very well. And he will gingerly take the 2 halves of Batleth and proceed to walk towards the forge as he sees what repair work can be done. I will say here, Caligo, I will probably have... I'll do a very quick roll at some point during the session, possibly during a break, just to allow them an assessment, and if not during this session, then I will get back to you at a later time.
That is fine.
All right. So let's see. While all of that is going on, would you want to go anywhere in particular from the main forge?
I unless I'm having another encounter, I'm probably heading back to the on.
Fair enough. Would anyone else like to see Azek as they are either walking to or from, or perhaps to other business? Oh. Seeing none.
Happy to see Azek.
You've not every time you see Azek, you've had the uncomfortable feeling as if the faint taste of tapioca pudding just on the tip of your tongue.
Say that like it's a bad thing.
It is.
It is when it was your captain. Oh. Oh, okay. Let's check around then. Well, I have a couple more. I have a couple more scenes in mind here. The 3 we've not touched base with, that'd be Traven, Kresic, and Tabak here. Would anyone like to volunteer just yet?
I had 4 pages of talking. Let somebody else do some talking.
That's fair. That's fair. And it comes down to the doctor, or our good chef.
My talking involves the captain.
Fair enough. That conversation is somewhat still to come. Just because I think, well, yeah, we'll touch base on that in a moment. In the meantime, then, how how's about we check in with the babysitter? Would that be okay?
The babysitter?
Yes, I used my word choice very deliberately there. Let us... Rev, would you be good at the moment? I know there's been some Discord issues. If you are saying things, you are muted. Oh wait, nope, he is actually away at the moment, so I only just peeked into the Discord, and yeah, I think we will come back to you for a moment, Captain, just so that you can have the chance to talk with somebody else before we get to before Traven walks in, if you would like. Otherwise, we can simply start the conversation in progress with you and Traven there. What would be to your preference?
I am easy. I'm good. I'm good either anyway.
Right.
However we want to handle it, I'm good.
Okay. Let's see. Let's.
Doctor's back.
Oh,
Okay. Rev, I did want to ask before Traven and Tabak have a very uncomfortable conversation, that is to say. Would you prefer? Would you like to check in on the babysitter right now?
Always. I love being the babysitter.
Very good. So let's see. I'm going to presume that this is still like on the estate here, but we're going to use a forested scene here just for this. So let me set the scene. We are going to start in a clearing just shy of a small little wooded area. Really, I would imagine that the view that you are getting would be a very well manicured sort of building, but looking out through your eye shields, Kresic, you can see in some distance that the captain allows for a mix of wildlife as well as like a fair bit of greenery on his estate. It's been a familiar thing that that you've noticed as you go about it, and it seems very fitting for the small creatures that he keeps on Earth, that he keeps for trade and for companionship. The various apparently the Earther phrase goes, cats as you understand them. A variety that will grow quite large one day. Like this big.
No, heavens.
But no, it's if we were going more screen accurate, then one of them sits right before you in the clearing, just looking into your eye shields.
I have like dried meat that I carry with me, and I'm just flicking little bits toward it.
Mm-hmm. It will glance over it, and after careful sniffing, it will discern its preferred bits of meat, and it will grab. It will begin chomping down on one of them. It is a familiar maneuver, a familiar exercise for an activity that you have done many a time at this point. As you engage in the activity, give me an insight and security roll, difficulty 1, please. First roll of the session.
Oh, you know I love my insight.
Yeah.
7.
Excellent.
Xenobiology?
I don't think it actually works here.
Psychoanalysis?
Supernatural horror?
But I'm afraid the closest we got to the latter one was last episode, unfortunately. But psychoanalysis I will allow.
All right. Insight security? There we go.
Yes.
That's about right.
Yep. So, Kresic, you know what's coming at this point. It's been the same way every other day that you've been on this planet since you had erred towards this particular scheme, but you were taking in the more pleasant sight of the small little fluffy creature as it munches happily on the little bits of dried meat. Between that, the breeze blowing in the wrong way to allow you to more effectively pick up the scent, and not quite hearing the sound of giggles, you are caught just the slightest bit off guard as high-pitched cries come out. Calls to battle by noble warriors who come with blunted wooden mek'leths, vowing to slay the monster once more that troubles these lands. You are now, loosely speaking, in combat.
I love it.
Yep. Just for our reference here, I'm just going to...
By the way, I am going to attack for lethal. No, just kidding.
Wait, what now?
Just kidding.
So let me make some tokens just marginally larger than the kittens here. As the three children, or the three young children directly in Tabok's estate. All right, actually, I might be forgetting one here. There's no, wait, that's right.
He's got his. Yep.
One of them
Two of them are his. Two of them are his nephew and niece.
Yes, and then one of them is a younger child of some single-digit
two.
age. Yeah.
Yeah, two, which for a human would still be probably looking around like the size of an 8-year-old.
Yeah.
Because Klingons grow fast.
Yeah, if Alexander's any guide.
Yep.
All right. So, yes, the three children waving their mek'leths and giving that playful but earnest cry out. They are going to make a charge at you. Let's see. I'm going to, just because they don't quite have proper character sheets, I'm going to say that one of them, the oldest among them, is going to take a swing at you with their wooden batleth. They are just going to roll. They will have to beat an 8 for success here. So,
I'm not defending.
oh, good. Let's see. So
You'd better not. I'm just saying, you better not.
Yep.
Whee! Look at him fly.
Yep. So the oldest, a boy by the name of Tark, a Kuha child, the Klingon of the smoother forehead variety, cries out earnestly and says, "Take that, Hadebak!" And he will move in for his attack, going for a bonk on the head. That is 2 6s, so he is going to bonk you on the head.
Oh no!
Bonk, bonk on the head. Sorry. Old weapons.
I get it.
Yep. Just on the errant chance that any sort of damage is done, I'm going to roll a flat D6 here. That is a 5, so that is technically an effect, like 1 point and an effect. I'm going to say that doesn't...
Does it still pride damage?
It does an injury to your pride, I'm afraid.
Yes, that is fair.
So...
Should have smelt them coming, but this cat just finished pooping, so...
Yeah, it's...
The odors are thick in the air.
It is far too diverting in this case. But yeah, you take the bonk to the head. What would you be with this grievous blow to you? What would you be doing? What would your reaction be?
Hadebach is an offensive stereotype. And then I'm just going to just dip my thumb and forefinger together and go to flick him in the forehead.
Well, as he will try to evade, I will make this a contested roll, so that will be a daring plus security roll.
Fitness and security for me because of my my talent. Applied force.
That is right. That would definitely work here. I'm going to roll the 2d20s real quick.
And
18
personal combat.
Personal combat applies as a focus. They are not going to miss this with an 18 and a 16, so they will not evade or block or anything. So.
Now, mind you, this is both not lethal and very much not intended to actually do any real damage.
Yeah, you don't have to actually strike here. This can be more...
okay.
The way that melee tasks work, Star Trek Adventures actually gives you options. So you could, instead of the strike, you could declare it a light shove. You could just declare it a straight-up non-lethal attack. You don't even need to roll damage properly. That being said,
yeah, but that's a complication, buddy.
Yep, you have rolled it. Good. Sorry, we're
in a single mode. Oh.
Okay, I am willing to accept a narrative complication, provided that narrative complication is not roll damage dice.
It will not be damage dice.
Okay. Then I will accept a narrative complication.
Okay.
Because I do not want to kill these children.
Yes.
Hit a soft spot.
Yeah. So the let's see. As you land the flick, and for the record, you do earn momentum with that. Let's see. Who would like to be designated momentum designated momentum officer? Sorry.
I can do it this time.
Okay. Feel free to just draw a momentum at your leisure. The flick manages to just catch the young Tark on the nose as he and his hand instinctively goes to cover it. You have dealt each other even blows, pride for pride. Unfortunately for him. So let's see. Okay. Sorry, I just got my notes mixed up for a moment. So Tark takes a moment to recover, and behind him, another young boy, the son of your leader, Tabak, cries out with encouraging words. Foul beast, you shall not trouble these lands, although we shall bear your other words in mind with honor, that perhaps Hadebach is not the best word to use in this situation. The boy, aside from exhibiting atypical judgment in that, is also atypical insofar as, despite the fact he is the child of two Hoch parents, your Lord Tabak and his wife Morathi, he appears to be a Hoch. The Klingons, as they were before an old plague of a century past, had given them more human-like appearance, at least some Klingons. there is variation among them, depending on those who were afflicted, those who weren't, and those who have begun the first primitive treatments in order to remedy that. In this case, he is extremely interesting, and thus the object of, were things to go ideally, it would be the object of your study, at least more attention. It is precisely that attention that allows the other small one, Celeste, this one, a young Hoch girl, to quickly dart around your flank and go in for another attack. You dare strike at my brother! And with that roll, there's a 6 in there, so that will be 1 success. Are you taking any defensive action? Are you trying to block or anything?
Nope.
Okay. In this one, she's going to swipe right for the face and will actually...
Is it a lethal attack?
She would love for it to be...
A lethal intent?
Oh, she wishes, but unfortunately...
Okay.
You know, I'll go so far as to allow a point of threat to... the point of threat I would have taken for this roll, just to go into that. Roll a single die. She does clink against the eye shield that you have. Her blade moving with very lethal precision. If this were indeed a combat situation, you'd probably be dealing more with prosthetics if you survived that.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna grab the stick and snap it.
Oh no. Give me one more fitness and security roll, and I'm going to ask for a difficulty of 1 on this.
I swear, if I get another, I'm gonna get Splinter if I get another one of these things.
Oh, no soft skin today here. Not for you, Kresic. That 2 successes, you earn yourself another point of momentum, which I'm going to remember to update in the stream.
I told you, not the eyes. The face is fine. Eyes are sensitive.
The young one, Celeste, retreats very slowly. Her face, just locked in a glare. For saying, oh, now I need to go get another one. And, yeah, with that, I think the 3 children will start running back towards the main manor in order to find one additional wooden Mek'tor. At this time, just because we haven't had him in scene, and I've got to imagine, well, so far as I know, Traven has been allowed to remain out and about. Would we like to drop our chef in on the way to the manor? Would you guys want a little chat together?
I always love talking to the chef.
Yes.
I can't tell if that was sarcasm.
The hard thing about Gorns, you never know.
You don't know until they break your spine.
The face doesn't move a lot to give away, you know.
It's the Gurney Halleck moment from the first of the Dune movies, and
Smile, Kresic. I am smiling.
Exactly. Would you be up for that, Cheesy?
Absolutely.
Okay, so watching the Klingon children run by, and as Kresic tosses aside the bits of wooden Mek'tor, Traven, you find yourself passing by them on approach to the manor, in headed towards a conversation that you are not envious of. I will edit Klingons apparently do not giggle. Victoria's
fun,
Crest.
Doctor?
Sorry.
I am. Are you?
No. But I'm putting that in the back of my mind until I get to my destination. This seems like a good distraction. I never knew you were good with kids.
I love children. They are the future.
They're delicious.
A
That is
question, real quick question. Would Kresic have heard about why you're going to see Big Papa?
Tabak would not have let it been known.
Okay.
If
I
other
just needed to know
people, if
that.
other people talked about it, that's them.
So the real question is, Rev, would Zionol have been spreading the word amongst the crew?
That assumes that Kresic would ever listen to Zionol. So, no.
Excellent.
Yes, but also no. Okay, thank you. I just wanted to know that real quick.
Care to join me on my walk?
If you don't mind getting attacked by 3 small but fearsome warriors with sticks along the way.
Oh no, I don't think I could handle such fearsome warriors. I'm just a lowly chef.
But you are an immortal worm.
To an extent.
As long as they don't attack your stomach, then.
It's protected by my pouch.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if it was something sharp, yeah, that would be really bad.
So, what did you do?
Sorry, but I'm gonna need you to be a little more specific.
You said you were not looking forward to your meeting. What did you do to make you not look forward to it?
Well, you'll probably hear about it anyway. While the crew was doing the battle, and after I inspired the soldiers, which I think I did miraculously, I took it upon myself to take advantage of the war-torn situation and hop onto one of the Klingon vessels that was landed, and I merely sent a signal to be intercepted by the Federation to be sent to the Trill homeworld. So I could talk to my mother, my father, the symbiote community, and if all goes according to plan, hopefully we can open trade between Tabok's house and my home world.
I see. And that's a bad thing.
Me contacting my family is not a bad thing, no. But it did go through Federation comms, and a lot of people don't really like that. Zionol specifically.
You know, my people are about to go to war with the Federation. In about 20 years. Not much time left to plan.
I hope that the Trill home world evaluates their situation. And I hope that they don't choose a side at the wrong time. They haven't showed any allegiance to anyone but the homeworld, but the Federation is one of the main groups that have contacted us, traded with us. I definitely don't look forward to a war in which my homeworld and your homeworld fights. But I think this lifetime I'm going to be a bystander instead of a warrior. A diplomat, if I can. I've died enough times to not really want to do it again.
So the third time is not the blessing.
Absolutely not. No, I don't like it. The first time was traumatizing. The second time was complete darkness, and that was also pretty traumatizing and terrifying. I don't want to see what the third time brings.
Next time I will send you to the Egg Mother, Siahaza. She's quite nice.
You know what's funny? When I first joined, I would have never listened to any of the Klingons or the Gorn superstitions. But now I'm pretty sure the Egg Mother exists.
Of course she does. Well, where did those three go?
It is as your attention is drawn off from Traven that you see 3 children charging at you at full bore with those blades. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to ask, with all 2 of those momentum you have there, or with the option of instead giving me 2 threat, would you like to buy an advantage?
I would love to buy an advantage.
I will give you such a thing in terms of a narrative development. The question is, how do you wish to do it?
Can I get one of them tripped and scraped their knee?
Oh, you know me so well. The clarifying question was threat or momentum.
Momentum.
Very well.
We don't need it.
Yeah.
Turtle the monkey paw.
Yes. So as the 3 children run at full bore, quite a bit of speed for what would be juveniles of any species, but they are Klingons, and the emphasis on physical fitness is definitely a trait that helps with this. That being said, the youngest of them, the 2-year-old child of Tabak, the Hoch, who, despite his comparatively young age, and despite coming in presently slightly shorter than the 2 older children, is actually managing to keep pace, but at the cost of doing so entirely too fast, as they lose their stride in the last few meters, and he slips to the side, falling over. The arm, and particularly elbow, scrapes across some rocks as he falls to the ground, and as he kind of just barely catches himself, he screams to the sky, "Ah! Ah! Ah!" The other 2 kind of halt. They don't quite halt their charge. They look for... Oh dear. One moment. We just got a raid from the Architects of Fate with 10 viewers. I will have to restart that explanation there, or I'll come back to that in a moment. But welcome in, guys. Hope that you are ready to enjoy some Star Trek Adventures. I remember seeing, I think you guys were doing some Conan earlier, so I hope that was all fun. Definitely check them out, anyone new to this here. I've also got to really design new sound alerts for the Klingon games particularly. Let's see. So, getting back to that, the two small children, Tark and Celeste, they stop for a moment before you, looking back to the younger boy, and before resolving their charge, though they will come at you, Kresic, and they will continue to hack at your legs. They will obviously do no damage, despite their fury, as the blunted wooden batlets do little for you. But what would be your move here?
I will immediately go to the one who hurt himself.
Okay.
Is he joining the attack as well? The renewed assault? Or no, is he just kind of sitting there in his pain?
He's momentarily, like, he is, as Klingons lack tear ducts, as you would know well at this point, he is not crying, but he is expressing the pain is feeding into anger, which is quite appropriate for him. So he is currently just screaming and, like, maybe indulging in the occasional juvenile, like, whatever at his age he would pick up as a faux curse of sorts, since he probably doesn't have the full frame of reference to drop profanities. He's a bit young. But
Dang, a flinging, ripping, zipping.
yeah, exactly. Whatever Klingon variation on that.
But we all know that Klingons don't have tear ducts because the saltiness all stays within them.
Yes.
Oh, that was good. I liked it.
Thank you. I'll reward myself a point of momentum for that one. No.
Yeah.
Anyways, I will move quickly over to him. Surprisingly quickly. And get down on my haunches. And look at the injury, try to observe, see how bad it is.
I will say that without any, without a task, you can very quickly tell it is a light scrape. The pride obviously stings more than, pride is probably stinging the boy more than it is, more than actual pain.
You fell in battle.
He stops screaming for a moment and looks to you, the rage slightly melting, like his teeth gritted. I guess you are right.
This house needs all the warriors it can get. Let me repair that so that you may resume in glorious combat.
He'll hold up the elbow to you. It is a light trickle of blood that comes from the cut, but it does flow nonetheless.
Dermal regenerator in one hand, sample collection in the other.
Good. Yep. I'll say just give me a control plus medicine roll, difficulty of 1.
One of my focus, my medical focuses applies here.
Absolutely. That is 3 successes. You easily catch that medical sample and quickly apply the dermal regenerator in order to redress the wound, and he stretches out the arm, the cut gone, and going back to pick up his blade.
There, and I'll check this to make sure you don't have any infections from that cut.
And I shall be ready for battle once again. And the children all cry out, raising their blades, and they, after a moment of celebration, they're coming in and they're starting to swing the wooden batlets at you again, all grazing at your legs and whatnot.
Traven, either help me or go on without me.
I hope you fight well, my friend.
You too.
Warriors, hit him behind the knees. It's a good spot.
The boy, the Hoch boy, the son of Tabak, stands, proclaims his name. You have done a great honorable service, but you are still the beast that must be felled, and I, Takan, son of Tabak, will drop you.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And so with that, the battle resumes apace, and Traven, you leave. You leave having just betrayed at least one person on the crew who still trusts you. So
I have Azek,
that's fair. You still have one left. Very good.
and that's for breaking my neck.
Don't make me do it again.
Well, with the pleasant encounter over and the Klingon children hacking away at your ship's doctor, you walk through the bit of greenery and enter the great citadel of Tabak, of Tabak of the House of Cord, the fortress at the center of Dagor's fort. For those that that are able to take a look from that one larger view, it is a large building with a sort of rounded top with spikes about it. It's a very old citadel in this fortress, something that has been in the house essentially almost as long as they have been on this world. And its interiors are conservatively but well decorated. I believe in its softer places, we had described it as Klingon cottagecore, if I'm not mistaken.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. So it is in this. It is walking through the manors with a few of the house retinue standing about, preparing for any visitors or other reasons to need to guard the place, that you are guided to a room where, tell me, Tabak, would you receive him in the main hall, or would you prefer to have a small antechamber set aside for your meeting?
In my office.
Okay. You are guided then to the office area that the captain keeps on his manor. As you will say that you get the chance to knock at the door, and when Tabak is ready, you can. I'll say, you can give the chime for. You can say whenever you want him to enter, and if you want to give us a little description of Tabak's office, then by all means.
Tabak's office. Large wooden desk. Like the top is like a slice out of a tree. Still with the live edge, the bark around the outside. There's a fireplace with a fire blazing in it. At least 3 cats are in here, one of which is Cheshua. Chair behind the desk, bookshelf on one wall's filled with books. Scanning the titles, a lot of them are, engineering texts, but a lot of them are also Klingon philosophy, teachings of Kales, the Kesha, which is translated in the Federation as the Klingon art of war, and big furry rug in the middle of the floor. And Tabak sitting behind his desk, arms crossed over his chest, looking at you. Traven.
Captain.
That's the only word he says. He just keeps staring at you.
I'm guessing you want me to start?
Silent. He just is staring at you.
I guess I'll start by saying I didn't mean for Croker to die. I didn't even get a chance to speak.
That makes him blink. Like, huh? Arms still crossed. He kind of tilts his head sideways and looks at you.
The plan was to enter the ship, and hopefully I could talk my way past most of the security. I wasn't quick enough. Croker had the speed of any Klingon warrior. Used his instincts and defended me immediately. And for that I am sorry.
He looks at the desk down at the desk for a second, uncrosses his arms, looks back up at you and says, Draven, you've lived amongst us for a long time. And yet somehow you still do not understand. Croker died in battle. There is nothing greater. Nothing to apologize for. You went into battle. You went into battle with Klingons. One of your shipmates died. That was bound to happen. Croker is in Stovokor. He has nothing to be ashamed of. You have nothing to be ashamed of.
Although his death was Sorry, sir.
Did he die in combat?
Yes, sir.
With the enemy? Yes, he did. There's nothing to apologize for. As far as that is concerned. His arms cross again over his chest. Why? Why contact the Federation?
That is one thing that wasn't fully explained. I didn't contact the Federation. I used them as a signal beacon, so to speak. Captain, my home is very far from here. Very far. Not one. I am probably the first Trill ever to come into this side of space.
Of that I am most certain.
My home world has no affiliation with the Federation as of yet. However, we are on amicable terms. My planet has traded with them, helped them, they've helped us. So, I went onto a ship that would not be tied to you or the crew, and I sent a signal with specific instructions to send it to the Trill homeworld.
You miss your home. You miss your family.
Been many years, Captain. I haven't heard a word. Haven't seen their face. As much as I love the family here, I'll always miss my family at home. And I don't know when or if I'll ever see them again.
Of anybody on this planet, I can appreciate that more than anything.
But I wouldn't be fully honest if I didn't tell you the second reason I sent it.
And that was?
You're becoming a bigger house. You're becoming a lot more popular. You have a lot of backing. I feel as though you could expand your reach. If my message gets to the Trill homeworld and is put in the right hands, I believe I could secure a meeting and hopefully trade between the Trill homeworld and your house. If that is something that you would want to venture forth with. I'm sick of being the chef. I'm not going to lie to you. I do love it. Cooking is a great passion of mine. 2 lifetimes over. However, there is so many parts of me that want to do more. I had the highest science test scores in the whole symbiote process. I'm good with chemistry. I can do a few fit scans. I want to be more useful. And I thought that this could be one of the ways I could help your house and our crew to try and pay back the generosity that you've given me.
On a Klingon ship, the most respected member of that crew is the captain. The second most respected person on that crew is the doctor, because the doctor puts you back together so you can achieve your glory and your victory. The third is the cook. Without the victuals and the victuals that the cook prepares for the crew, they can do nothing. No matter how much the captain yells and screams and beats them. You may see your position on the yawn as demeaning or less than. Let me assure you, Traven, it is not.
I know my role is important, but something you must understand, Captain. I've been cooking for over 100 years.
Certainly.
And inside of me are warriors, explorers. I'd say 10%, I'd say 20% wants to cook for the rest of my life. Our life. But the rest wants adventure, glory, to make a name for ourselves and to prove a worthy life for the next host that comes after me. I guess I just want to branch out.
You seek more glory and honor.
And adventure.
And adventure. Many Klingons do not understand that glory is more than
fighting and killing your enemies. Combat, battle, is more than fighting and destroying the other man on the battlefield. Any place can be a battlefield. Artists compete for recognition. Those artists are engaged in battle. My house, it's a commercial house, yes, but we compete with the other commercial houses. We find our battlefield in the sale and distribution of goods and the achievement of a good name for our houses. You are different than any Klingon could ever be. How many lifetimes have you lived? More than I have. I cannot replace you as cook, because no one else would compare. But I do see and understand that the duties of ship's cook are not enough for you. Are you willing to simply let me add more duties, like the ones you seek? Or do I need to find another chef and be completely disappointed in the fare aboard my ship?
Captain, I can assure you, if anyone stepped foot in my kitchen and touched my wares, they would get stabbed repeatedly.
You have spent a good deal of time amongst us.
I believe once I go home, a lot of people will say I've spent too much time. But of course, I'll disagree.
As well you should.
But
I will endeavor, Traven, to give you more of what you seek. I will call upon you for more than providing us with food. When I am in command of the ship, if ever I am again, and I will instruct Azek to do the same. But I must ask, demand, that you never do that again without first clearing it with me. I have made no mention of any of this in my family chronicle. That is an official legal document which would tie you and me to that act. Won't show in anything I write or dictate. But never do it again without first talking to me about it. Or you will never see your home world again. Am I absolutely clear on that?
yes, sir. It won't happen again. Not without your permission.
And killing you would certainly get me into Stovokar. Because killing you, I would kill a dozen people, and most of them warriors, according to you.
Only 8.
8, whatever. But with one blow, I could take out 8. Don't tempt me to take that blow. Don't do it again. Now off with you. Do something while we prepare for the final shakedown of the Yam.
Yes, sir. Shall I cook you and your family a meal?
No, that is taken care of. I have had to hire 3 chefs for my household
to even come close to what you can produce. I would rather have you attend to your duties on board the ship. As I said, I'll have Azek brought up to speed that you are to do more things than simply make him those disgusting pastries.
Might break his heart, Captain.
Well, darn it. Get out of my office. I have things to do.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. As that scene comes to a close and Tabak leaves, I will say we are nearing half past the hour. Just as far as an overall story point goes, I think that we will wind up having a part 2 for this adventure, but I have time for, I think, at least one more scene of the player's choosing, and then I have one in mind to end it. So let me ask, would any of you urgently like to do something right now, or as we wind down for the evening? If you don't, or if you have an idea but it's not fully formed and you don't want to do it just yet, it can be saved for next session.
I'm good. Do what you got to do, sir.
If you don't have anything, DuPont could be sneaking out of the kitchen with a gawk bucket.
There are no gawk pockets in my kitchen.
Destroyed.
The only
Gone.
place they
Reduced
exist
to atoms.
The only place they exist is in the galley on the Yan. And that's only because Tabak hasn't been allowed.
That's where he's sneaking out from, just because it's funny.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Does remind me I need to add that to the soundboard at some point.
Gawk pocket.
Yeah. For any of you not familiar, I strongly encourage you to check out our archives and to enjoy the little Easter egg that we have there. That being said, let's go ahead and finish off the episode tonight, or rather, this part of the session, with one final exchange. So, broadly speaking, we'll take one more exterior look at the majestic old citadel of Takur's fort, and glance over it as I try to move things around the layers efficiently. So the rest of the day on this old fortress, this old citadel of the House of Cord, work continues apace for the town as it steadily bustles about with new activity, with new life breathed into it. The forges continue their work on the various mechleths and other components. Some that are some starting to work on more considerable electronics, or investigating the possibility of more angles of construction. One particular merchant carefully examining a blade of another sort, one brought to him by a warrior he deemed unlikely, but that one that might be repaired. While other signs of life just continue to thrive, with people walking about the town, walking around the settlement, some hunting, some simply going about their days, some heading to the one ship in the service of the House of Cord at the edge of its, at the edge of the starports. As to your own activity, Tabak, there is plenty to do in the study, and plenty about in the manor where you deal with the family at different times. You will share a meal with them, with some of your crew, all those who might attend, at least from the main crew. I don't think that even if they would be willing to, that Morathy would broach a major encounter with the with other parts of the crew, especially that clumsy old dock worker.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Vopri, too, even if he were less squeamish, is not one to spend time amongst Klingons.
Yeah, not if you can help it.
Yeah. In any case, the day wanes and you come into the night and you are settling in your bed chambers as both you and your wife prepare for bed over the day. Morathy is presently walking around tending to an idle bit of work that she had, of which I have completely forgotten. Something in accord with house protocol, as she would see it. Simply say that. I must say that the bustle. It will still take me some time to get used to this. There's more lighted out in that city than I'm used to.
Good thing.
She'll walk out
We're
to...
becoming prosperous again. House has a future.
She gazes out the window and looks in the direction. I imagine that... Would I be correct to presume, Tabok, you've got a balcony of some sort? Would that be some of Tabok's fare?
That would be an absolute necessity.
Oh, okay. She strides out
from even just a tactical point of view. You need a good view of your city.
Yep. Yeah. So she'll stride out onto the balcony attached to the chamber. We'll say separated by a. Tentatively, my inclination is to call it a fairly thick curtain of some sort. I will let you amend that or add detail as needed.
Curtain and a door, because it gets cold here.
Yes. So passing through the door and through the curtain, she'll glance out, though. She will leave the door open, an invitation for you to join her out on the balcony as she gazes out. I know, husband, and I know that we stand to benefit greatly from this. As much as the future that we will have for Toy and for Takan. I suppose some part of me wondered about the idea of just having our own corner of the universe. Maybe I just wasn't ready for all this all that soon.
You doubted me. You doubted that we could fix my foolish sires did.
I doubted your idiot brother's quick fix when he proposed it. In you, husband, I knew that we would come to this point one day. I didn't know whether our children would grow up amidst this growth, whether they would whether they would live to see the rise in their youth, or if they would live something closer as we lived and simply saw us rise steadily with our hard work as an example, with your hard work as an example.
While I was about gallivanting amongst the stars, you kept our house functioning. You kept us alive while I chased dreams.
Would it be correct to presume that you have come out through the balcony at this point?
Oh, yeah. I'm waiting for the sniper shot, so yeah.
Fair enough.
That's me, not him.
Yep.
Because something has to ruin this goodness.
Yep. Morty looks back to you and just says, well, we have fought on our respective battlefields and more. I suppose it is beginning to... we are on the verge of great victories. We've already won great victories.
And here's to many more.
She smiles and looks down and then back up to you. Yes. Many, many more, I am sure. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm going to take a moment outside of this. I think the chill is a bit much for me today, so she'll walk back towards the door in the curtain and say, suppose you do deserve a moment to take a look and see what you have done, what greatness you have wrought here. Just don't stay out too long. So Morty will pass by you with a smile. I'll say she stops by and presents you with an embrace before leaving and going back inside, leaving you out on the balcony for a moment. Anything that you would choose to do just for a brief moment in time before heading in?
Laugh, and then go inside.
As you step through the door, Tabak, first, just for a frame of reference, what particular wear are you in right now?
Clothing-wise?
Yes.
Certainly not wearing armor.
No, definitely not. Well, we'll say that, like, some sort of late evening wear, partially changed out. Still, easily perfect modesty. And that remains the same. And as your feet fall before you and you walk through, you open the door and step through the curtain, all that seems more or less consistent. What doesn't is that the moment you step through, you find yourself instead glancing out towards Decor's fort from the outside. Looking behind you, the door and the curtain are not there either.
I'm confused. I'm looking out of the fort, or what?
You are looking into the fort from the outside, seeing roughly... you're on the wrong side of it to see where you were, the balcony facing the opposite direction to overlook the city in this case. But you are looking at your home from well outside the settlement.
I didn't feel the familiar tingle of a transporter.
You did not.
I immediately drop into a combat crouch.
Yep. As you crouch to the side and gain some awareness, a voice comes from behind you. No, it's just adorable that you think that that's going to work.
Familiar voice?
Yes. The voice of a woman that you last met in a prison cell. And it is with that we are going to call tonight's session. So,
Before the credits finally roll,
yeah.
Tabak gets out of the crouch. His right hand comes up and pinches the bridge of his nose, and he just shakes his head silently and sighs.
All right. In And that is where we will end tonight's session. For all of you that are joining us in the archives here, we hope you enjoyed. This is where we will leave you off. We will come back to this episode with a part 2 next week. Until then, we will see you around. But if you ever want to join us live, be sure to drop in. We run this game Tuesdays at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time every week. So feel free to give us a follow, and we will catch you later.